Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. I'm just,
Jen or Jennifer.
yeah, no, don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Michelle
I
can
was
pick
like,
it up. I'll do that. Yeah. I love that you did that. No, Jenna is definitely not you energetically. Maybe it was you 15 years ago, not now.
or 30 or 40.
Yeah, you're right. Jen is a really strong name for a young person who's just figuring it out. Okay, here we go. I'm putting on the timer. I'm going to do a quick reset so Michelle can see the pause. Welcome to Mind Power Meets Mystic. I am Cinthia Varkevisser, your spiritual shit disturber, intuitive integrity coach, and resident mystic. And Michelle Walters, our hypnotherapist and executive coach, is our mind power. She is off for the afternoon. However, she's very, very excited to hear what we're going to be talking about because we have this amazing person with us today. Jen Darling is a force of nature in the best way possible. She's a revenue generating machine and in demand speaker. She has a knack for showing audiences how to raise their visibility, rise in leadership, and rock their sales results. With over 20 years' experience in advertising sales and sales management for companies such as Fox, NBC, CBS, and Comcast, Jen knows what works and what doesn't work to boost sales, motivate teams, and shift mindsets. Jen teaches audiences to engage innovatively, connect more effectively, and stand out in new and valuable ways to be seen as an expert, trusted advisor, and thought leader in their industries. She delivers keynotes, seminars, workshops, and virtual trainings on sales and marketing, leadership, and mindset. Jen has a master's degree in change management. Oh, I'm so sorry, change management. She's an ICF certified coach and a professional member of the National Speakers Association. Jen is the author of 3 books: Say Yes, Then Figure It Out, Find Your Leadership Rhythm, and Increase Your Leads with LinkedIn, 52 Tips for Sales and Success. Jen is also the CEO of Bliss Hydration and Wellness, launching in December 2024, just happened, to provide IV vitamin hydration, vitamin injections, and medical weight loss. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
being here, Jen.
I'm so happy to be here with both of you amazing leaders. Ooh, yay.
Jen's, I met Jen a few years back,
Hmm.
and you really are a force of nature. When you pop up, wherever you pop up, all of a sudden there's like a spark in the air, like electric static type of thing. People kind of like boost up a little bit. That's just who you are. And the fact that you are also, it's not on here, a pound fit, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
A
yeah.
pound fit
Pound fit
instructor.
cardio drummer.
Yes, well, and instructor, it really makes sense who you are energetically. I love that. Um, what Michelle and I are so impressed with is that you run multiple successful businesses. And in particular, you have this incredible successful business in sales, marketing, specifically in LinkedIn. You also know how to charge up people, amp them up. And then you decided to move everything physically, emotionally, all energetically to IV Bliss Hydration and Wellness. Can we talk about that? Like, how in the hell did that happen? What made you shift up? And how are you feeling with all this?
Isn't it crazy? So I went from being in corporate advertising sales and sales management that I had done my whole life. And then I decided to leave my company and basically become a consultant, but still in the areas of sales and marketing and leadership and mindset. Like all of that was a thread throughout my whole entire professional career. And then now here I am launching an IV vitamin hydration and medical weight loss business, which is in a totally different industry, which is in the health and wellness industry. And I'll tell you, what sounds like it's so crazy shift, but it's not really. It's been a red thread through my whole life of how I got there. And what happened was, when I look back, you could say maybe there was a shift or like a singular moment that said, aha, I want to do this, but not really. When I look back and I think of my whole life, I've been tired my whole life. And I was tired in college. I remember thinking to myself, I'm so tired. And here I am, like 20 years old. It's not a time in life to be tired. And I felt tired. I remember walking into a gas station in my when I was doing advertising sales and pumping gas, and there was a guy at the station taking your money, at the just taking your money for gas. And I walked in there and he said, "How are you doing today?" And I said, "I'm so tired." And this is now I'm like in my late 20s and early 30s. And he said, the whole United States, all of you Americans are tired. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not just alone, I'm tired. And then I worked my way out of my business and started my own company, which was doing LinkedIn training, sales trainings, keynote speaking. And I thought, well, this is going to do it. This is going to help me make me not tired. I'm still tired. Still tired. Three different episodes, three different decades in my life, and I'm still tired. So I now have my own business, and now everything is in my control. My life is in my control. What I do with my time is in my control. How I spend my money is in my control. Who I work with, I'm working with happy people only now. That's like a priority in my business. Only positive people. If I sniff your negativity, you're out. Like you're not a client. You're not, we don't work together. That's just a rule of thumb. So I was doing all the things. And I had a very big awareness. I'm still tired. And I was talking to a coach of mine, and she said, "Have you ever thought about talking to a functional doctor, a Chinese practitioner, somebody like totally different than your Western medical people?" And I said, I'm open to anything. So I did. I hired this Chinese doctor, and we're in COVID, so we can't meet in person. But that's okay. She can do her work virtually, and I met with her. Um, on a phone call after I sent her in some hair samples so she could test my hair follicles on this really cool, amazing device that was developed in Germany. And she tested these hair follicles, and she came back with this like 5 million page report of all kinds of things. And what she discovered, and what was one of the biggest ahas for me, was that I was deficient. Was vitamin deficient in a couple of really key vitamins, vitamin B12, and I had malabsorption. Like I could take pills, but they would not absorb in my body, would not get the effects. I was vitamin D deficient, which is a sunlight energy, vitamin that you get from the sun. But I didn't want to go out, and I mean, the net best way to get that is through the sun, but I didn't want to go out and burn. So I was vitamin D and just deficient in many ways, but then also like I think I was probably energetically deficient as well. But let's just start with vitamins. At the same time, I've been phobic of blood and needles my entire life. Paper cut, pass out.
Well,
Don't even say the word needle, pass out. Little tiny blood draw, pass out. Like phobic, like I'm gonna die. I never had kids because too many needles involved in that deal. And so here I was left with a decision. Did I want to remain energetically drained physically, or was I willing to take a poke to try to improve the situation? I lived in Northern California in a really small town. There was nothing there that she'd recommended. Just go to this vitamin B12 happy hour, she told me. So couldn't find anything. But then a few months later, I'm sitting in my hairdresser where you get all the good info at your hair salon. And I hear them talking about this new location that's doing these B12 injections. And I mean, it was like, whoa. So I signed up. I went there, got my first blood draw just to confirm the IV vitamin deficiency. I'm sorry, the vitamin deficiency.
mm,
And I went there to confirm it, and the Western medical blood work confirmed what the Chinese doctor confirmed from hair follicles, the same exact panel. And by the way, when I got my blood draw, I passed out. But I had told them in advance, I'm with nurses. I'm with the nursing and medical staff. I had three people taking care of me. So I felt like they've seen people pass out. Like this is not a, so I did. I passed out. I woke back up after the blood draw, and she said, her name's Kayla, by the way, very dear to my heart. Kayla said, "Jen, you already passed out. Hard part's over. The catheter is still in your arm. Would you like a small bottle of saline?" I said, "Well, the hard part's already done, so give it to me." And that was my first IV, like I said, yes thing. I took some uh, calming medication to get me through the few next year's worth of IVs, but I went back every other week. Twice a month I went to get vitamins, and I thought, well, this is really helping my energy. And it was helping my energy a lot. I was regaining my energy. I was no longer having to take 2-hour naps during the
Right.
day to have energy. I was regaining my energy. Now, there's lots of components of energy. I mean, there's mindset pieces too that I'm not going to talk about right now today because you guys can carry that conversation. But as far as physically, when I discovered that I really needed this IV vitamin hydration, it was filling me up. And not only that, but I was also getting a 45-minute session that was my busy brain relaxing for 45 minutes and knowing that somebody else was taking care of me. So I was getting physically vitamins and emotionally I was getting cared for. And as a CEO that does a lot and has a lot of activity in her life, getting that downtime and those vitamins was really helping me. So through all of that, I decided that this was something I wanted to help people with. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I kept asking questions of Kayla, and I told Kayla I want to have my own center. And I kept peeling and gnawing back at it and taking pieces. And then my husband got let go from his job. Well, actually, he quit his job. And this was our opportunity. I thought, here we are now. We are going to move back home. I was in California, moved home to Michigan, and I'm going to start my IV hydration place. And then we went through a bunch of changes there with the move and selling the house and all these things. And then in July, we got back to Michigan, and I was like, well, now's the time. And here we are. So we're 6 months later. I'm very close, like I'm very close to opening. I have my supply, I have my products, but not my supplies. So within the next couple of weeks, we will be starting to serve people in this very new way. And then I'm praying that people will see the benefits, and there will be enough people that want to take control of their wellness in this
Mhm.
way that will be able to serve a lot of people in ways that they don't have to go to the system and try to get approved, but they can make choices on their own to be advocates of their wellness and holistic wellness. So that's my story of how I got into this. It was really not really just a one thing. It was like a lifetime of getting here.
Well, yes, I agree. And it's a fab story. And if I were to break it down, it would be that I believe, first of all, I'll tell you about my belief system. I believe that our life can be summed up um, in five punctuation marks. Okay. A period, a question mark, an exclamation mark, a question mark, and a period. Okay. So the period is I'm born. The question mark is who am I? The exclamation mark is I am. The question mark is what's my purpose? And then the period is I die.
Mm.
So to me, I feel like your LinkedIn took you from question mark to exclamation mark, and that your IV Bliss hydration is taking you from I am to what's my purpose. And so there's a big thing. The other component is that here you are in Northern California having a great life, and then you move back to family, which is again one love to a bigger love. So can you talk about that? Like what made you decide to go back? Because I don't think it was just about Michigan doesn't have as many, IV
No. That definitely was not it. They don't. That is a fact. Like
yeah,
it's
it's the
not
truth.
a
Yeah,
big,
I'm
that is true. But
pretty aware
no,
of
no,
it.
that was not it. So I actually I grew up in Michigan. And I went to college here. I graduated from Western Michigan University. I loved it. I loved being in college. I loved being a student. And when I graduated, I moved to Northern Michigan, which was very cold. And there I met my husband. And I had known a long time that I wanted to move somewhere that was warm with no humidity and no snow. And if you look at the United States, there's really only one spot. Oh, and it had to be near water. Sorry, because I could go Arizona, but it had to
Right.
be near a body of water because I grew up on Lake Michigan. Water, I'm very close to water.
Hmm.
That was part of we were at the beach all summer. So I had needed these. There's only one place, that's California. Florida's humid. California is not. So when my husband had an interview for California, he was my boyfriend at the time. I said, I want to go. Let's go to California. I want to go with you. So he and I moved to California. We were there for 27 years. I love California. I am a California girl. I love California. As I got older, I had been away from my family. I didn't really have a great family life growing up. So I wasn't moving was not a big deal. I was like, see ya, sayonara, I'm out of here. And I went there. But then as I got older, my values and my interest in being more time with with my parents specifically. But then while I was away, I had 24 nieces and nephews, and I have two brothers, and so my family was growing while I was away, and I was coming back to visit, but it just wasn't enough time. I decided I wanted more time with my parents before they leave the earth. That was the bottom line there, is that I want to be with my mom and my dad. They were teenagers when they had me, so they're still pretty young. I want to do stuff with them while they're still able and I'm able and they're still on the earth. So Michigan just became a natural, like, let's go back home and let's spend some time with our family. And that's why the IV center got here, not because there are no IV centers here. True,
Right.
but that's not why. The why was because I wanted to be with my parents.
I think it's beautiful, right? Because what you did is that you have bit now this is what I find interesting is that your LinkedIn keynote speaker, you can do that from anywhere,
Hmm.
right? You
Yeah.
could have gone back to Michigan in that modality, but what's happened is that you decided to make a huge shift. The shift is from being remote or being more flexible to actually having brick and mortar, and that you decided that you're going to take it back home, right? It's a
Yep.
really beautiful thing. I also believe that there's a huge healing in leaving and then coming back because you get to see it from different eyes and then you get to make reparations in accordance to what's in alignment with you, right? In order to have a more robust, more authentic life, which we never talk about in business. So I want to shift gears because there needs to be authenticity in business. You know business better than anybody. You know how to infuse it. And funny, you're an infusion business and you were an infusion business. That so let's talk about authenticity in business and how it makes it super that's what makes it so unique and what makes it robust. When people feel like they're flailing in their business and they're finding that they have kind of lost themselves, what do you say? How do you help them out? How do you help them find that key piece or the key pieces? Because I believe you are really good at that.
Yeah, probably from personal experience, having to do it over and over.
Right.
There are many, many times I have wanted to hang up and say, this IV business, what am I doing? I'm crazy. You have to be an RN first off to give somebody an IV. I cannot give somebody an IV. That's not in I'm not able to do that. I don't
Mhm.
have the training, certification, license for that.
But a
So what
desire, right?
so what in the world am I doing in this business?
Right.
It's so easy to think of hanging up the hanger, and I've done it a million times, telling myself this is not what am I doing? Keynote speaking, same thing. Like, what am I doing? And the comparisonitis there gets really strong because I have a lot of really great, amazing keynote speaker friends. And so it's like, what am I doing? Why am I even thinking this? Who am I to do this? And then what happens is I stop and I think this is all I can think about. All I can think about is IV hydration business and medical weight loss. So I have a story there too. And keep making the world a better, happier, more energetic place. And so if that's all I can think about, I need to keep taking some steps to move forward in that. Like, stop fighting the universal principle that this is where the direction I need to go. Yes, it's hard. It's hard work. I'm not joking. It's hard work trying to get this IV place started. I'm not an RN, and I don't have all the answers, of course. So I just have to really get back and grounded to what is the thing that is really calling me. Because for a long time, there was no calling, to be honest with you. A long time. The reason I'm not in advertising and sales
Mhm.
is because I was excellent at it. I made a lot of money at it. I helped a lot of people, but it was not something that was attached to my heart and a calling.
Right.
It wasn't that.
That totally
I
makes
had to
sense.
find, yeah, I had to find other ways to fulfill myself. And I had to tell myself, the money I'm making here at this is a means to something else that I'm fulfilling my life everywhere else. So this business is different
Right.
because this is a life force in me. And by the way, what's so interesting about this is I buried myself into studying vitamins now. I
Mhm.
watch as much education as I can. I watch as much. I get that if I have a pharmacy meeting, I'm at the pharmacy meeting, like I'm going to all the things. And when I was watching education on B vitamins, the pharmacist said B vitamins are the life force. B vitamins. Without B vitamins, our bodies and our brains don't function. So it is quite amazing, like how powerful B vitamins, and then just that to have named my business Bliss, starting
Right.
with a B. I hadn't even done that. Like that was not on purpose intentional. It was just a word that kept coming up that I did. So I think it's like get back to your question, whatever that thing is that's just sitting on your shoulder, gnawing and gnawing and gnawing and gnawing at you, even if you don't have the experience, even if you don't have the training and education, even if you don't have the background, but if it keeps gnawing at you, like you got to go for it. Find some help. Find the people to surround yourself with the help because last thing I want to do is have that last period that you talked about, death, be there. And I didn't go chase the thing that was gnawing at me because I was too scared to do it.
That's brilliant. And I completely agree. Um, I had a near-death experience in almost a year ago today, and got to see the light, got to see the tunnel, right? That's a different story. However, as I was going, I knew that there was a choice. And the choice was, do I go? Because it sure is comfortable. It sure feels attractive to go to the light. Or I started crying because I said I will have led an empty life, and I have kids. It wasn't empty in that way, right? But it was empty because I hadn't fulfilled my personal passion, right? And so I love that you talked about that. Um, the thing that drives you, the calling, right? The calling.
And for me, I think it can change over time. I don't think it has to be like that I have this single life's purpose, or maybe I'll get to the end and figure out I did. I don't know. Right now at this time, like I don't feel like, oh, I have the single life's purpose. It's like I feel like it could change. I can have multiple purposes. I could have different intentions. All of that. But I also know that and things can be easy. There have been things like LinkedIn, honestly, that has been an easy street for me, super easy. And there are things that have been easy. And I love taking easy street. And a lot of times I fight and I make things harder than they need to be. Happens all the time.
Mhm.
But what I know in my brain is that my brain would like to give up a lot because it's just easier just to stay comfy in my pajamas with a hot cocoa sitting by the fire than to go out and really make waves and shake things up and do things that I'm uncomfortable with. So I got to keep reminding myself, whatever that gnawing is, like just keep, like, let's not quit today. If you need a break and a breath today, take a break and a breath today. But that gnawing is going to be there tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So let's just take one step today.
I love that. I love that. I'm really sad that we haven't really had a chance to talk about your books because you've penned many books. And I do want to ask one thing, which is, and then to before we wrap up, and I'm tongue-tied because I'm trying to figure out how to post
Hmm.
it, which is having your LinkedIn business that you're still involved in is it's vital and it's not your passion. It's, in the thing, it's like the not who I am, but it was from the who am I phase, right? And that you are moving into your IV bliss and that you have both. And so I can you talk about having both because we just talked about the calling and that you have both. A lot of people, I believe, don't think that they can have both and that you actually need both for at least a little while. So can you talk a little bit more about that and give a little bit of advice to people who are afraid to take that leap to the calling?
Yeah, I think that our world gives a lot of dichotomies. You need to make a choice of this or that, this or that. And I do it in my brain all the time, black and white, yin or yang, this or that, choice between A and B. I try to find a way to go, can I have both? Or not even can I, is how can I have both? So sometimes I need to position them into where they belong, and also sometimes I need to see the integration between the two. So I got some really great advice recently from a friend of mine, you, Cynthia. Oh, it was so great, and it's like just so I had put it into perspective. Like this, I have so much time to do this, focus on that, and then focus on the time on the other piece. So doing both, but prioritizing and managing time around it is one thing. The other is the thing I love about the IV business is that this business is different because I'm building a team. I'm looking for a support. I'm looking for other specialists who can do things. I do not want to run this business trying to do it all on my own. That would mean I need to go back to nursing school
Right.
at a minimum. No, I have found a way to bring my family into the business with me. My niece is a nurse and she didn't have enough schedule. So I found another nurse too who's remarkable and awesome as well. And when we're looking for people, I'm like, the requirement is this: they need to be positive, awesome, amazing people. And they need to know how to do a good poke. But if all they know is how to do a good poke and they're not awesome, amazing, positive, wonderful people, who they are every single day, how they show up, then they're not the right people for us. So I'm surrounding myself with people to do the business. And I just see myself but I see myself as the founder, the orchestrator, the conductor. The LinkedIn business is a little different because I have just brain magic that I work with that business. I haven't found a person who could do what I do that way with LinkedIn. So I'm going to continue to do that. But the thing is, these two things belong together because LinkedIn is a powerful medium for business professionals. And we need, and especially for women in business, if you are listening, um, the thing is, we need this platform because I believe that women need to exercise their voices more. And one way you have total control to do that is a social media platform called LinkedIn. So one of my biggest goals is to support women business professionals to have more energy, maybe through vitamin hydration and IV, and also through cardio drumming, exercise, and movement, but also to be powerful on stages, screens, and boardrooms. And we can really put our voices out there and be seen as mentors and leaders by putting our arms around and using that social media platform. So funny, in my brain, actually see all of this together. It's all linked.
Right.
And it is in support of people who want to be thought leaders and make a difference and make a better world and make a happier world and make a more fulfilling, joyous world. Because right now we're in crazy times and there's a lot of stuff competing for sucking our energy. And I want to see how can we infuse energy in many different ways.
I love that. Thank you so very much. Before we drop off, what you got going on?
Oh, 5 million things. Today, what I have going on is I'm going to be going on to a success call with the team that I work with for my IV hydration business. That's what we got going on. We got that going on, and then I'll just end it, I think, with one last thing personal I have going on. My dad came by yesterday. I haven't been able to have that happen in 27 years, so that was really cool. My dad came by yesterday, and he's like, "Could you please give me a list of Christmas things you want for Christmas? I'm going to go shopping." And I struggled with this request. I really, really struggled because there aren't things I want for Christmas from my dad. So I sent him this text this morning. I said, "Dad, I really appreciate you asking me what I want for Christmas." Oh, I might tear up right now. I
Good.
said, but I said, what I really want is a date with my dad.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
Priceless.
don't get me stuff. Take me out for dinner and a show. That would be the best gift you could ever get.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for giving, Jen, on so many levels. I'm teary-eyed too. Can you tell? For giving on so many levels your sage advice, these amazing stories that we can relate to, and your heart. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.